The 2025 carnival season continues to be celebrated in Latin America and the Caribbean. In Haiti, the main leader of the criminal group's ex-police officer Jimmy Cherishier threatened the country's authorities after a police operation in the Bas d'Almas area. And Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Qatar and Egypt have denounced Israel for violating the ceasefire agreement and strongly condemned the Zionist blockade of humanitarian aid. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Via 40 in Barranquilla was decorating second day of Carnival to receive the Great Parade of Tradition. Hernán Tobar with all the details.
On the second day of Carnival festivities, Via 40 in Barranquilla dresses up for the Great Parade of Tradition with the participation of more than 160 folkloric groups, among which are the cumbiambas, dances, and rhythms, arising from the mixture of the Spanish settlers and their mixture with the native ethnic rhythms with components of courtship and flirtation.
Cumbia is a love affair in which the man respects the woman. The man does not even touch her with the petal of a rose, and the woman defends herself with the candle to get him off her back.
This extensive and traditional road was also adorned with the rhythms, dances, and attire of the Afro culture. This is a very deep-rooted tradition in the Caribbean region of Colombia, since all the tradition coming from the African continent entered through its fluvial entrances, now converted into a hymn of freedom and African roots.
We dance Sexteto Palenquero, a rhythm that came from San Basilio de Palenque. We are children of Palenqueros who live in Barranquilla. It is one of the contributions of the Palenquero people to the Carnival of Barranquilla.
Honoring this traditional Carnival Sunday, the dance of the Congo is present. This dance represents the resistance of the indigenous people and Afros to the yoke of foreign domination.
We have been showing it in the Carnival of Barranquilla because it came from the sides of Cartagena, origin of the black cobblestones at that time.
The essence that this carnival transmits is reflected in the public that attends this important celebration.
We are very happy. We are seeing different folklore from the different regions that are with us today. We have an incredible diversity in this carnival.
This activity is complemented by more than 77 individual and 59 collective costumes in a tradition that exalts the cultural values that are transmitted from generation to generation.
teleSUR, Barranquilla, Colombia. And carnivals, as we have showcased through our special coverage, are more than just festivities. They are also a space for social and political demands. This year in Brazil, Palestine was not forgotten. This way, amidst the colorful celebrations of Rio de Janeiro, the absolute carnival festival capital of the world, musicians and singers raised their voices in favor of the Palestinian cause. In the middle of the crowd, musical groups raised a Palestinian flag calling for peace and the right of the people of Palestine to own the land that belongs to them and to be vindicated for years of opprobrium and violence at the hands of the Zionist occupier. And the Carnival of Cadiz is one of the most popular and emblematic festivities in Spain, known for its satirical festive and participative character. From Andalusia, our colleague Sergio Rodriguez with the report.
Cádiz, puerta de Europa. Cádiz marinero.
Cadiz, gateway to Europe, Cadiz Sailor, Andalusian Corner, and Cathedral of Carnival. This winter festival celebrates life, meat, and freedom before Lent, but in this Andalusian richness, it is the seat of social criticism.
En la segunda mitad del siglo XIX, los grupos que
In the second half of the 19th century, the groups that were free in origin, the groups arrived on carnival days and went out to the streets to sing what they wanted. We knew that there were already political issues because censorship began to exist. Who creates censorship? Who creates the contests? Well, the councillors, the mayors, because those who are singing in the streets bother.
¿Por qué? Porque los que están cantando en las calles molestan.
Then the political and social criticism comes practically from its birth, not in this form of carnival, and has had moments of boom and more difficult moments.
Y ha tenido momentos de auge y momentos más difíciles.
El Gran Teatro Falla es...
The Great Fayez Theater is the temple of Andalusian Carnival. This is where all the groups want to participate.
La agrupación del Jonah...
Jonah's group was one of the finalists in the previous contest. Their lyrics are satirical and critical, part of the struggle of the people that makes its voice heard every February.
This is a festival born from the people for the people, and it is a time of the year in which we vindicate culture through copla. It is to feel those working classes that gave rise to popular festivals, and, well, it is a unique moment in which anything is valid, both critic and irony.
La copla es la esencia de este carnaval.
The copla is the essence of this carnival, but the characterization and costumes are the common origin of this festivity.
When the curtain opens, even if this is a music contest and lyrics, in the end, visually, the first thing you do is look at the person's face. Then we have proven on more than one occasion, and it is seen that a good makeup is a good staging, and a good costume will always give you more points, and will always bring you much more. There are groups that are very good, but have been wrong to look bad with the makeup or costume, and in the end you liked it a lot, but you did not like it visually.
Llega el gran momento.
The great moment arrives. After months of preparation, rehearsal, and hours of work, the great moment of stepping on the boards of the Cathedral of Carnival arrives.
El Carnaval de Cádiz es cuna de la crítica.
The Carnival of Cadiz is the cradle of political, social, and cultural criticism that is addressed through witty and biting lyrics, which comment and satirize from local to global issues.
Los orígenes del Carnaval de Cádiz.
The origins of the Carnival of Cadiz go back centuries, but the Civil War and the Franco dictatorship left Cadiz without carnival for a decade.
En los años de la Segunda República, el concurso se afianza.
In the years of the Second Republic, the contest was strengthened, but the cut came with the Civil War. The dictatorship first banned the carnival in 1937 in the middle of the war, and then when the war ended in 1939 and after the birth of what was to be the Carnival of 1940, there came the total prohibition, which was not for Cadiz. The total prohibition is for all of Spain, and that's when practically all the carnivals that existed in this country were lost.
Todos los carnavales que había en este país.
Como cada febrero, el Falla.
As every February, the Fayez Theater opens its curtain to welcome the coplas, cultural heritage, home of the irony and the wit that every year sings from the people to the people.
We now have a first short break coming up. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Qatar, and Egypt have denounced Israel for violating the ceasefire agreement and strongly condemned the Zionist blockade of humanitarian aid. The foreign ministries of the four countries stated that Tel Aviv's decision is a flagrant violation of their own agreement. Furthermore, they rejected the use of hunger as a weapon against the Palestinian people, especially in the middle of the holy month of Ramadan. Less than 24 hours before a regional summit to discuss the reconstruction of Gaza, the Foreign Ministry of Egypt, host of the important meeting, reiterates that only with goodwill and political determination will there be progress in talks. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for avoiding a continuation of the war between Israel and Palestine. Antonio Guterres affirmed that it is imperative to make every effort to prevent the resumption of this war in the Middle East, assuring that if it continues, it would be catastrophic. The United Nations then stated that it is closely watching all developments in both countries as the first phase of the ceasefire agreement comes to an end. On the other hand, it also insisted that humanitarian aid must reach the people of Gaza without hindrance, with adequate funding and in an environment that guarantees the safety of civilians, including humanitarian workers. And in Israel, relatives of the Israeli hostages shared a statement on Sunday night demanding the immediate start of the second phase of the agreement with the Palestinian resistance before any return to war in Gaza. The demonstrators staged a sit-in, lit bonfires, threw flares, and interrupted traffic as they gathered in front of the Prime Minister's residence to demand that he continue with the agreement he signed with Hamas and initiated last January 19th, which ended last Saturday without talks for the beginning of the next phase. The second phase of the agreement was to begin on Sunday. However, Israel has prevented the progress of negotiations, despite the willingness of the Palestinian resistance. And in other news, Vatican cardinals led a vigil in St. Peter's Square on Sunday as Catholic faithfuls prayed for Pope Francis' recovery amid his ongoing hospital treatment. The vigil was led by Cardinal Konrad Krajewski to pray for the Pope, who remains in stable condition at Rome's Gemelli Hospital following a respiratory crisis on Friday, according to the Vatican. Despite his hospitalization, Pope Francis remains engaged with global affairs, receiving visits from senior Vatican officials and staying informed about international developments, while his breathing has improved and no new infections have been detected. The 88-year-old pontiff continues to receive high-flow oxygen therapy as part of his recovery from double pneumonia.
Fratelli e sorelle, pellegrini di speranza.
Brothers and sisters, pilgrims of hope, we gather in prayer to recite the Holy Rosary and contemplate the mysteries of the life of Jesus with the gaze of the Blessed Virgin Mary.
Vergine Maria. Preghiamo insieme con tutta la Chiesa per la salute del
We pray together with the whole Church for the health of the Holy Father Francis. May the Virgin Mary, Mother of the Church, sustain him at this time. Let us contemplate the glorious mysteries this evening, certain that risen Jesus is our hope.
Certi che Gesù risorto è la nostra speranza.
We now have our second short break coming up before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, we'll be right back. Welcome back. In Haiti on Sunday, the main leader of the criminal groups, former police officer Jimmy Cherchier, threatened the country's authorities after a police operation in the Bas Dalmas area. Through a video, the criminal leader, nicknamed Barbecue, said that police action in one of the strongholds of criminal groups in the lower part of the capital, Port-au-Prince, would be replied with similar force. Barbecue further assured that he had brothers all over the world and told his enemies to prepare for the consequences and not to forget that force should be proportional. He said he would buy drones and use them as they were used to assassinate him with explosives, stating that he could use drones with explosives to kill anyone in the country. Venezuelan Defense Minister General Vladimir Padrino Lopez denounced Sunday that 28 foreign drilling and tanker vessels are operating in the Guyanese controversial zone. Earlier, the Guyanese President Irfan Ali had expressed his concern over a Venezuelan patrol ship, which was allegedly threatening the ExxonMobil production. In response, the minister described the 28 foreign vessels as an incident that violates international humanitarian law seriously. Padrino further ensured satellite records and numerous pieces of evidence proved these overseas vessels illegally exploit and trade hydrocarbons in the area. Likewise, the general mentioned the case of Georgetown, where they have no legal basis or legitimacy to unilaterally make arrangements in a space they can exert neither sovereignty nor jurisdiction. And the United States Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, stated the nation will not give aid to Ukraine until its president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is ready to negotiate an end to the war. During an interview with a U.S. media outlet, Lutnick assured that everything was in place to reach a good agreement, and the Ukrainian president had an outburst 45 minutes before the TV cameras arrived. From then on, he began to demand the withdrawal of the Russians from his country and reparations to the tune of $300 billion, as well as security guarantees from the United States. Lutnick assured that this is why President Trump accused him of playing with World War III and confirmed that there will be no aid without real guarantees of peace. The statements also serve as a response to pressure from European countries following Trump and Zelensky's controversial meeting. In the United States, authorities report emergency as more than 175 wildfires scorched North and South Carolina states. According to official sources, the forest fires registered in the last hours have forced citizens to evacuate the affected areas since they have been consumed by the flames. Authorities also say that this weekend an outbreak of fires spread rapidly through the forests of South Carolina, consuming more than 1,200 acres and affecting another 3,000. It should be noted that despite the efforts of 410 firefighters and 128 emergency vehicles deployed in the area, the magnitude of the fire has led the governor to declare a state of emergency in the state, underscoring the seriousness of the situation. Hours before the extension deadline for the implementation of the U.S. tariffs on Mexican products, President Sheinbaum reiterated that Mexico is a great, free, sovereign country. On Sunday, the Mexican president referred to the national position regarding the U.S. tariffs that will take effect next Tuesday, March the 4th, as announced by U.S. President Donald Trump in a post on the social media Truth Social on February 27th. Sheinbaum reiterated what she has always said: cooperation, coordination, yes; subordination, never. For his part, the Secretary of Commerce of the United States, Howard Lutnick, said in an interview on Sunday with Fox News that the tariffs to Canada and Mexico will go into effect as planned, but that the President himself will determine their exact levels. And the 97th Awards Gala of the United States Academy of Arts and Sciences, popularly known as the Oscars, took place in Los Angeles on Sunday. Anora, Sean Baker's independent film about the miseries of the American Empire, won the statuette for Best Picture, while Latin American and Caribbean celebrate the historic Best International Film Award won by the Brazilian production I'm Still Here, directed by Walter Celes. The story, which narrates the persecution of leftist deputy Ruben Paiva and the moving and heroic decision of his wife, Eunice Paiva, is a tribute to democracy from the memory of the dark period of the Brazilian dictatorship. Also during the ceremony, the documentary There Is No Other Land, a Palestinian-Israeli co-production, was awarded with its directors once again rejecting the Zionist occupation and continued attacks on Palestine. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on our socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.